The strange lady at the kitchen table. He was only 5 when he saw her for the first time. It was a rainy afternoon. The kind where the clouds sat low and the house felt too quiet. His mom was in the kitchen, talking to someone. The boy thought maybe it was Mrs. Carter from next door, but when he peeked around the doorframe, his heart stopped. The woman sitting at the kitchen table was not from next door. She wasn't from anywhere he knew. Her skin was silver. Not painted silver, but made of silver. It caught the kitchen light and shimmered, almost like ripples. On water, her hair looked like soft white threads, glowing faintly. And her eyes were a deep, endless gold, like there was a tiny sun hidden inside each one. But the strangest thing wasn't how she looked, it was how she drank her tea. She lifted the cup, tilted it, and the brown liquid didn't pour into her mouth. Instead, it slid across her skin, into her fingers, disappearing like water soaking into dry sand. The boy's eyes went wide. He forgot to breathe. His mom noticed him standing there. "Eli," she said slowly, "come here." He didn't move. At first, the silver-skinned woman was watching him. She had a soft smile, but her eyes didn't blink. "Not once. This," his mom said, with a small, nervous laugh, "is Aunt Veyra. She's from far away, far away." The boy thought, like another country? Another planet? Veyra tilted her head. "Hello, little one," she said. Her voice was strange. It wasn't loud or soft, but it seemed to curl around the room like smoke. Eli stepped forward. She didn't smell like perfume or food. She smelled like rain on metal. "What's your name?" she asked. "Eli." He whispered that. She smiled wider. "A strong name." Strong names are important. They talked a little, mostly his mom, trying to fill the air with small words. But Eli noticed something odd. Sometimes the two women spoke in another language. Not Spanish, not French. Something he'd never heard. The sounds bent strangely, like someone was singing underwater. When they spoke that way, the air in the room felt heavier. At one point, his mom leaned in, whispering something to Veyra. Vera's golden eyes flicked to Eli, then back to his mom. She said something in that strange language. His mom nodded quickly. Eli felt like they were talking about him. After a while, Veyra stood. She was tall, taller than his dad. She moved smoothly, like her legs didn't bend quite the same way as human legs. She knelt down so her golden eyes were level with his. Her face was close now. Eli could see tiny silver lines in her skin, almost like cracks in a mirror, but glowing softly. "You will grow fast," she whispered. "And when the time comes, I will find you." Eli's chest felt tight. He didn't know why, but her words made him cold. She touched his cheek with her long fingers. They were warm, too warm, like she'd been holding her hand over a fire. Then she stood and walked toward the back door. The door opened without anyone touching it. A rush of cold air swept into the kitchen, smelling of wet earth and something sharp, like ozone before a storm. Veyra stepped outside. She didn't look back. The door closed behind her. Eli ran to the window, but there was no one in the yard. No footprints in the wet grass. Nothing. When he turned back, his mom was just standing there, staring at the closed door. "Mom?" He asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she knelt down, took his shoulders, and said, "Eli, you must never tell anyone about Aunt Veyra. Not your friends, not your teachers, not even Dad. Okay?" He nodded, but only because she looked scared. That night, Eli couldn't sleep. He kept hearing her voice in his head. "You will grow fast. And when the time comes, I will find you." He didn't know what it meant, but somehow he knew she wasn't lying. Childhood whispers. After that rainy afternoon, Aunt Veyra didn't come back for a long time. At least, not when anyone could see her, but Eli knew she hadn't really gone dotted. Started small. Sometimes at night, he'd wake up and hear voices coming from the kitchen. His mom's voice. And that strange bending language Veyra spoke. But when Eli crept down the hall, the kitchen would be empty. Once, he swore he saw the back door close by itself. Another time, he found something under his pillow, a small cube the size of a sugar lump. It floated when he dropped it. No strings. No magnets. Just hung there in the air, like it was thinking about where to go. His mom's face went pale when she saw it. She took it from him without a word and locked it in her desk. The whispers kept happening. Some nights he could almost understand the strange language. It wasn't words exactly. More like pictures forming in his head. Bright cities floating in clouds, ships sliding through rivers of light, tall figures with silver skin. And sometimes he saw her not for long. Never close. Once he caught her reflection in his bedroom mirror, standing in the corner of the room, watching him. But when he spun around, the corner was empty. Another time, in the middle of a school soccer game, he looked past the field to the parking lot and saw her leaning against a lamppost. The sun was hitting her skin, making it blaze like polished metal. Nobody else seemed to notice when Eli asked his mom about it. She said only one thing. Veyra is checking in. But checking in on what? The gifts on his 10th birthday. Veyra came again, this time during a storm so loud the house shook. The lights went out. For a moment, the only glow came from the candles on his cake. Then another light joined them, golden and warm, spilling from the kitchen doorway. Veyra stepped out, carrying a small glass crystal. It wasn't just shiny, it was alive, pulsing faintly like a heart. "This is for you," she said. "What is it?" Eli asked. Her smile was slow. A reminder. She put it in his hand. The moment he touched it, he heard faint music in his head, soft, strange, and beautiful. It made him want to cry, though he didn't know why. When he looked up, she was gone. The front door hadn't opened. The windows were shut, and yet drops of rain sparkled on the kitchen floor. Almost ready by the time Eli was 13. Veyra's visits became more direct. Sometimes she would appear in the middle of the night, standing by his bed, speaking quietly in that bending language. He would wake the next morning with no memory of her words, only the feeling that something important had been planted in his mind, like a seed waiting to grow. Once, she placed her warm hand on his forehead and said, in English this time, "Almost ready." Eli tried to ask, "Ready for what?" But she was already fading, like a shadow pulling back into the walls. The warning on a cold autumn night. Just after his 15th birthday, Eli overheard something that froze his blood. He had woken to get a glass of water. As he passed the living room, he heard his mom's voice, sharp and frightened. "You can't just take him. He's my son." Then Veyra's voice, calm but firm. "He is more than your son. You know this." Silence. Then Veyra again. "When the time comes, he must be ready to breed. If not, they will come for him anyway, and it will be unpleasant." Eli's hand tightened on the water glass. It slipped, shattering on the floor. The voices stopped. When he looked up, Veyra was standing in the doorway, golden eyes locked on him. For the first time, she didn't smile. Asterisk, the return 18. Eli thought life would get easier when he became an adult. No more curfews, no more being treated like a kid. He was wrong. If anything, things felt heavier. His mom had changed. She kept the curtains closed, even in the day. She double-locked the doors. Sometimes she would stop in the middle of making dinner, put her hand on the wall, and just listen, like she was waiting for something. Eli knew what she was waiting for. He also knew who. Veyra hadn't shown herself in 3 years. No mirror. Sightings, no midnight whispers. For a while, Eli convinced himself she was gone. Maybe she had forgotten him. Maybe the weird breeding thing was just some alien joke. Then. The knocking started. Not normal knocking. This one came at night. Soft, rhythmic. Not on the door, on the window of his second-floor bedroom. At first, he thought it was tree branches. But when he pulled the curtain back, she was there, exactly the same as when he was 5. Silver skin, golden eyes, that faint smile, as if nothing had changed. "Your time has come," she said, voice carrying through the glass, like it wasn't even there. "Come with me." Eli's stomach turned cold. The night walk. He didn't remember agreeing to go, but somehow his shoes were on, and he was stepping outside into the dark yard. The air smelled like rain, though the sky was clear. Every shadow seemed deeper than it should be. Veyra walked ahead, barefoot, her silver skin glowing faintly in the moonlight. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. At the edge of the yard, she stopped. "Look up," she said. Eli did, and his heart almost stopped. Above the trees, floating in total silence, was a ship, not like the spaceships in movies. This one looked alive. Its surface shifted slowly, like breathing skin. Blue light pulsed along its veins. It was enormous, easily the size of a football field, and yet it hovered there without making a sound. The longer he looked, the more wrong it felt, like the ship was staring back at him. Inside the ship, they walked forward, and, without warning, the ground under his feet melted into a ramp of blue light, carrying them upward. The inside of the ship wasn't metal. It was something soft, almost warm, like walking through the inside of a giant animal. The walls moved slightly, flexing with each step. Strange patterns of light flowed under the surface, like veins carrying glowing liquid. There were no doors, only round openings that opened and closed like eyelids. "Where are we going?" Eli asked. "Your mother was chosen long before you were born," she said. "Chosen to guard something precious. You are that something." Eli frowned. "What does that even mean?" Veyra stepped closer. Her golden eyes locked onto his. "It means you carry the seed of survival, not just for my people, but for many. And now it must be shared." The way she said "shared" made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. The final words before the truth. Eli backed up a step. "Shared with who?" "You will see," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was something in her tone. Excitement and hunger. The floor under his feet began to move, carrying him forward into a tunnel of shifting lights. Veyra followed, her long fingers brushing the wall, whispering in that strange bending language. And somewhere ahead, beyond the curve of the tunnel, Eli heard voices. Not human voices. Dozens of them, speaking in tones that felt like claws scraping the inside of his skull. The ship was taking him to them, whatever them was. The ship and the truth. The tunnel spat him out into a massive open space, and Eli's brain struggled to make sense of it. It wasn't a room. It was like standing inside a giant bubble, suspended in a sea of stars. The walls were clear, but not glass. They shimmered, shifting between solid and liquid, and they weren't alone. Dozens of figures stood in a wide circle, watching him. Some were tall and graceful like Veyra, their silver skin glowing. Others were nothing like her at all, creatures with crystal faces, beings covered in black feathers, shapes that looked like they were made entirely of smoke. None of them blinked. None of them looked away. Veyra stepped forward. "Eli," she said softly, "these are the council. Council." The word felt heavy, like it had been used for thousands of years. One of the silver-skinned aliens moved forward. His face was sharper than Veyra's, his eyes a darker gold. "This is the one?" he asked, his voice vibrating in Eli's bones. "Yes," Veyra replied. "The last of the line," Eli swallowed. "Last of the what?" The male alien tilted his head. "The last seed-bearer of your kind." Eli almost laughed until he saw none of them were joking. The human secret Veyra's voice softened. "Long before your species learned to write, my people found yours. Your DNA carried something rare, a pattern no other known life form has. It can merge with others, adapt, repair what is broken." Her eyes shone brighter. "We used it to save ourselves, to heal worlds. But we took too much. Humans today no longer carry it." "Except you." Eli shook his head. "That's impossible. I'm just a guy." The male alien stepped closer, looking him up and down like a scientist inspecting a rare animal. "No, human. You are a key. And a key has only one purpose: to open." The sharing, the floor shifted beneath Eli, raising him slightly above the others. Thin streams of blue light wrapped around his ankles like liquid chains. Veyra spoke again, her tone almost gentle. "The time has come for you to share your pattern, not with one, with many. Our survival depends on it." Eli felt his stomach twist. "You mean breed?" A ripple of strange sounds passed through the circle, almost like laughter, but colder. "It is not mating, as you think," the male alien said. "It is merging. Your body will be used to grow new forms. You will not be harmed. Unless you resist." Eli's pulse thundered in his ears. "And if I refuse?" The threat the circle opened. From the far side of the bubble, something moved forward. It was huge, a towering alien covered in black armor, its face hidden behind a mask of bone. Its voice was deep and jagged, like rocks grinding together. "If he refuses, we take him, piece by piece. The seed will be ours, whether he lives or not." The air felt heavier. The walls of the bubble darkened, the stars outside fading. Veyra stepped closer to Eli, her hand brushing his arm. "You will not refuse," she said quietly, "because you are human, and humans always choose to save others, even when it costs them everything." Her words weren't a question. They were a trap. Eli realized the council wasn't asking him to help. They were telling him. Asterisk the breeding colony. The ship moved for hours, or maybe minutes. Eli couldn't tell. Time inside felt slippery, like it was bending around him. When the walls finally opened, he stepped into something that stole his breath. It wasn't a city. It wasn't a space station. It was both, and alive. Enormous towers spiraled upward like shells, glowing with shifting colors. Bridges made of light connected them, carrying shapes of every size. Tall silver figures, insect-like beings with too many legs, floating jellyfish creatures trailing sparks in the air. And every single one of them stopped to look at him. Some looked curious, others hungry. Veyra walked beside him, calm as ever. "This is the cradle," she said. "Here, life begins again." They moved through wide passages that pulsed faintly underfoot, like they were walking on veins. Strange scents drifted past, metallic, sweet, and sharp all at once. Everywhere, Eli saw chambers filled with tanks of thick liquid. Inside each one floated something. Some looked almost human. Others were shapes that made his brain hurt to look at. Limbs in the wrong places. Faces where there shouldn't be faces. "They are prototypes," Veyra explained, noticing his stare. "Some will survive, some will not." The hall of candidates, they entered a massive dome lined with balconies. Standing on those balconies were dozens of beings, the candidates. Eli froze. Not one of them was the same species. Some had skin that rippled like oil. Some had too many eyes. One had no face at all, only a ring of small mouths whispering constantly. And yet, every one of them stared at Eli with the same expression, a kind of fierce expectation, as if he were the he. Prize at the end of a long hunt. They are ready, Veyra said. Ready to merge. Eli shook his head. I'm not doing this. I don't even know what it means. The male alien from the council stepped forward from the shadows above. It means your cells will join theirs. They will adapt. Change. Become strong enough to survive what is coming. What's coming? Eli asked. Nobody answered. The horror behind the promise, they led him into a side chamber. It was darker here, the walls slick with moisture. In the center stood single tank, much larger than the others. Inside floated something that looked human at first glance, but its skin was silver. Its eyes gold. It was him, or something wearing his face. Eli stumbled back. What the hell is that? Veyra didn't blink. A clone. A backup. If you are lost, your seed will still be shared. Eli felt the air thin around him. So I'm not even needed alive? Veyra's voice was almost kind. Alive is preferred, but not required. The realization he looked at the candidates again through the glass wall of the chamber. Some of them looked desperate. Others looked like predators circling prey. For the first time, Eli realized he wasn't a guest here. He was a resource. And resources could be taken? He thought about running, but where could he go? The cradle was floating in the middle of nowhere. Every hallway pulsed like a vein. Every wall could close on him in an instant. Veyra leaned closer. The process begins tomorrow. Rest while you can. Her golden eyes held his until the chamber door closed. And in the darkness, Eli heard it, faint at first, then growing louder, the sound of dozens of alien voices. Whispering his name. The choice Eli didn't sleep that night. How could he? The walls of his room pulsed faintly, like a living thing. Every few minutes, he heard footsteps outside, soft, clicking steps that didn't sound human. And the whispers never stopped. Sometimes he thought they were in his head. Other times he swore they came from the vents in the walls. His name, over and over, in voices that didn't belong to one mouth. When the door finally opened, it wasn't Veyra who stepped inside. It was his mother. The betrayal. She looked older. Not physically, but in her eyes, like she'd been carrying a weight for years. Mom? Eli's voice cracked. What are you doing here? I came with you, she said. I've always been with you, even when you didn't know. Her hands trembled as she touched his face. I was chosen before you were born, chosen to protect the line, to make sure you survived until now. Eli's chest tightened. You knew. You knew what they wanted from me. Tears formed in her eyes. If I refused, they would have taken you as a child. You would have been raised here, by them. He stepped back, shaking his head. You kept me safe, just so they could. Use me when I was ready? She didn't answer. The truth Veyra entered quietly, her golden eyes sweeping over the room. It is time he knew why, she said to his mother, then turned to Eli. Out there, she said, gesturing toward the glowing city beyond the walls, are over 30 species on the edge of extinction. Their bodies cannot fight the plague that has swept through the stars. A plague born from the void, a living thing that consumes DNA itself. Her voice dropped lower. Human cells, your cells, are the only ones it cannot consume. We have tested millions. Only you carry the pure pattern. Eli swallowed. So you want me to... What? Give blood? Samples? The male alien from the council stepped into the doorway. Your blood is not enough. It dies too quickly outside your body. We need the source alive, merging with others. Only then can the pattern survive in them. Asterisk the threat within Eli's mind raced. And if I say no? The male alien smiled, or maybe bared his teeth. Then the others will take you. Some will be gentle. Some will not. A low sound came from the hall. Voices, not words, but eager. Hungry. Veyra's tone softened, but there was steel underneath. You can save billions, Eli, or you can doom them. This is your choice. Asterisk, but Eli saw the truth in her eyes. It wasn't a choice. It never had been. The spark of rebellion that night, while pretending to rest, Eli studied the walls, the vents, the way the doors opened. He noticed a faint shimmer whenever the glowing veins pulsed, maybe a power cycle dot, and then, through the thin seam of his door, he caught a shadow moving in the hall. It wasn't Veyra. It wasn't one of the silver-skinned ones. It was smaller, quicker, and it paused at his door just long enough to slip a tiny, metallic object under it, something like a coin with a single blinking light. When he picked it up, a voice whispered from it, a voice that was neither human nor alien, but something else entirely. I can get you out, it said, but if you leave, they will come for you, and they will never stop. Asterisk the blinking coin in Eli's hand pulsed faster, the whispering voice urgent now. They don't know I'm here. You have seconds. Follow my signal. Before Eli could reply, the walls of his room shuddered. Not just a vibration. It was like the whole place had been hit by a giant's fist, not an alarm ripped through the cradle, not a siren, but a deep, rolling howl that made his bones shake. The door to his room hissed open. It wasn't Veyra. It was one of the black-armored aliens from the council meeting, the one with the bone mask. Behind it, smoke curled into the hall, carrying the sound of running feet and shouting in a dozen languages. The attack. Come. The armored alien barked, its voice jagged. They are here for you. They? Eli asked. The alien didn't answer, only shoved him into the hall. Chaos had swallowed the cradle. Beings of every shape were running in every direction. Some fought with glowing weapons. Others used claws, tentacles, or strange bursts of energy. The walls themselves seemed alive, shifting and twisting, trying to close off certain corridors. In the distance, through a wide viewing chamber, Eli saw a massive ship outside, black, spined, and bristling with weapons. Its surface swarmed with shapes that looked like living armor. The Void Plague? The Rebels? Or something worse? The Aunt Veyra appeared from the smoke, her silver skin streaked with a strange blue fluid. She grabbed Eli's arm. If you want freedom, run with them, she said, nodding toward a group of smaller, masked figures moving quickly toward an exit shaft. If you want destiny, stay with me. Eli's heart hammered. Destiny means letting you use me. Freedom means what? Running for the rest of my life? Veyra's golden eyes softened. Running is still living, but billions will die. The impossible moment, the masked rebels reached him first. One pressed a device into his hand, a small black ring with jagged edges. Put it on, the leader hissed. It will hide your pattern. They won't be able to track you. Veyra's voice cut through the smoke. If you put that on, the plague wins. The armored alien behind him roared as an explosion ripped through the corridor, throwing heat and dust over all of them. In the chaos, Eli's mother appeared, coughing, blood on her temple. She clutched his shoulder with desperate strength. Eli, choose now, and whatever you choose, don't look back. Asterisk the alarms grew louder. The walls shook again. Smoke swallowed the corridor. In his right hand, Eli held the black ring, the promise of freedom. In his left, Veyra's warm, inhuman fingers, the weight of destiny. Both were pulling him. The camera would see him frozen between them as the ceiling above cracked, and alien shadows dropped through the smoke. Asterisk.